Have you ever wondered if the amount of stress you feel is healthy? Are you worrying about everyday issues for no real reason? What about excessively worrying about things like family, work, school, your health, or money? Everyone gets anxious sometimes, and some anxiety is normal, and it's what keeps us on our toes. Anxiety is the body's way of responding to stress. Studies have shown that small amounts of anxiety are healthy and are a sign of intelligence. Large or excessive amounts of anxiety can hurt you, and it's when your brain just won't shut off at night and you're unable to relax and be at peace. If anxiety extends to every part of your life, not just anxious situations, you may have an anxiety disorder. Welcome, friends. If you're new here, I'm Mike, a certified life coach, writer, and creator of PositiveThinkingMind.com, where I dive deep into topics such as self-esteem, anxiety, self-confidence, and so much more. And I invite you to check out and take one of my courses where I show you ways to make a shift to move forward instead of being held back, stuck, and frustrated. You'll learn how to build your self-esteem, think more positively, and just be happier. And I want you to be all you can be in this life by changing how you think and feel about yourself. And I believe in you, and I want you to believe in you. So real quick, I'd like to answer 5 important questions that I've received about anxiety, and I feel we should answer before we get into the signs anxiety is out of control. So first is, how do you know if your anxiety is bad? Well, anxiety disorders have various symptoms, and the most common is excessive worrying, which disrupts daily life. More signs may include restlessness, difficulty concentrating, tense muscles, trouble sleeping, fatigue, and agitation. The second is, when should I see a doctor about my anxiety and stress? Well, you should consider visiting your doctor if your worrying and anxiety interfere with your daily life, including school or work, social life, and possibly your hygiene. If your anxiety, fear, and worry are too hard to control, you should see your doctor. Third question is, how do you know if you're mentally stressed? Well, some signs you are mentally and emotionally stressed out include anxiety or depression, you're overwhelmed, unfocused, or unmotivated, trouble sleeping, anger, restlessness, irritable, constant worry, memory problems, and you make bad decisions. Fourth is, what does stress feel like? When you are stressed, you can experience feelings such as anxiety, anger, fear, frustration, and sadness. And these feelings often feed on one another and produce physical symptoms that make you feel worse. Our fifth question is, what does anxiety do to your body? So anxiety can do many things to our bodies, like trigger your fight or flight stress response. When this happens, chemicals and hormones like adrenaline enter your system and increase your heart and breathing rate, designed to help you respond to threats. Long-term stress and anxiety can be harmful to your physical health. Other anxiety symptoms may include headaches, insomnia, depression, muscle tension, and social isolation. There are different types of anxiety disorders, which are generalized anxiety disorder, which is an excessive worry over everyday activities or events. Another is panic disorder, sudden repeated feelings of intense anxiety and fear that reaches a peak within a few minutes, which is a panic attack. And you have feelings of impending doom and heart pounding and shortness of breath. Another is social anxiety disorder, and it's a fear and anxiety about social situations or feelings of self-consciousness or embarrassment or concern about being viewed negatively and judged by others. There's also agoraphobia, separation anxiety, and many other types of anxiety disorders. And some common symptoms of anxiety include that butterfly feeling in the stomach region, feeling nervous, restless, or tense. You're sweating, breathing rapidly, short, shallow breaths, a sense of panic, danger, or impending doom, weak or tired, difficulty controlling your worry, trouble concentrating, sleeping, increased heart rate, trembling. And just thinking about these things can just make me feel nervous. So let's go into 13 signs that your anxiety is spiraling out of control and how to manage it. So first is, you're constantly worrying about everything. When you're supposed to be enjoying yourself and having a happy time, but your brain is still saying, I'm nervous. You can't relax and continue worrying about big and small things. Being so exhausted from worry, the stress is beginning to affect and interfere with your daily life. You're worrying about unlikely events, bad things that most likely will not happen, even after you're reassured by someone you trust. If you're worrying that your best friend is mad at you, worrying about failing that test, worrying about things at work, suppose you're worried about everything for no specific reason other than your thoughts, and your inner critic just tells you that you should be anxious about these things. And your thoughts are often like an obsession or an endless thought loop that plays over and over in your head. If your anxiety doesn't stop at some point in the day, your anxiety may be out of control. Number 2 is increased repetitive negative thoughts, or RNTs, and irritability. And having a negative mind can make our lives look dark and bleak. Life can seem hopeless, seeing negativity in every situation. You think everything is wrong or people are against you, and they're not. All of this can make your anxiety worse. And anxiety tends to turn people inward. They begin to look at themselves in a more negative light and repeatedly worry about the future or something that has happened in the past. So number 3 is you constantly seek approval of others. If you're constantly worrying and seeking other people's approval for fear of rejection, your anxiety may be out of control. When we have low self-esteem or confidence in ourselves, we look for others' approval and trust their opinions more than our own. We don't trust ourselves and think that their opinion is more valid. If you're struggling to validate yourself and constantly seeking validation from others, ask yourself, do I have low self-perception of myself? Someone who is not good enough or not worthy? On a positive note, you can learn to turn this thinking around and build confidence in yourself. And with higher self-esteem, you're not going to care as much. Number 4 is difficulty sleeping at night. Once in a while is normal, but not sleeping every night because you're worrying is just bad for your health, both physically and psychologically. If you go to bed and immediately your brain turns back on and you're worrying about everything, almost like a hamster wheel, your thoughts just keep running around. The more tired you get, the more you think about things in your life. Restlessness kicks in and you can't stop worrying. Nightmares keep you awake, unable to fall back to sleep, and waking up too early because you're worrying. Not getting enough rest can turn our moods negative, and it just becomes a vicious cycle. The inability to sleep and rest can be a telltale sign that things are out of control. Number 5 is you're having difficulty concentrating. Many things can contribute to an inability to concentrate, such as ADD or ADHD, depression, or other factors. Anxiety can also cause you not to be able to concentrate when your thoughts are moving from one thing to the next so fast you can't entirely focus. As your anxiety gets worse, so will your ability to concentrate. If you keep thinking about anxious thoughts when you're trying to concentrate and your mind goes blank when you're stressed, this is a sign that your brain is being overtaxed. Number 6 is experience uncontrollable panic. Suppose you are feeling helpless and have a great sense of fear or dread. You're having a panic attack. Some symptoms may include hot flashes, sweating, a racing heart, difficulty breathing, chest pain, and nausea. If you have these attacks regularly, I recommend seeking professional help immediately. Cortisol, the stress hormone, is constantly going through your body all the time because you're always on edge and anxious, and that becomes unhealthy. Number 7 is problems with relationships. You get mad quickly over things that never bothered you before. The way your spouse eats their food, how your coworkers speak and talk annoys you. You get annoyed when your children ask you questions or want to do something. An anxious person can be more pessimistic. They don't want to do social things they used to love. And anxiety can make you less patient and can cause problems within your relationships. Number 8 is feeling of not having time for yourself. If you are always running here and there, doing this and that, you might not have much time for yourself. It's easy to neglect yourself when there are so many things to do, but taking time for yourself is essential. Not taking time for yourself can negatively affect your health. Your immune system can weaken, and you'll get sick more often. Negative thinking patterns may emerge, leading to depression, and long-term stress can cause cardiovascular problems, and weight gain. Start scheduling me time today. You and your health matter. Now, number 9 is feeling out of control. People with anxiety have difficulty expressing what's happening and have a sense of drowning or life spinning out of control. You feel you have to plan everything to make sure things go as planned and even try to control people in your life. In reality, you can't control people or most things that happen in life. Number 10 is trouble catching your breath. A common problem of anxiety is the feeling of not being able to catch your breath. In our lungs are little airways or tree branches with muscles around them that clamp down and tighten when you're anxious. To help with breathing, try deep rhythmic breathing. You can imagine a square box and start in the upper left corner. Trace your finger to the top right corner while you inhale for 4 seconds. Then trace to the bottom corner, holding your breath for 4 seconds. Now trace to the bottom left corner, exhaling for 4 seconds, and then hold for 4 seconds as you trace to the top left corner. Continue this exercise until you feel more relaxed and can breathe easier. You could also use an imaginary triangle similar to the box method, but holding for 3 seconds instead. Number 11 is calming stress with sugar. If you're stressed in eating candy, cookies, cakes, or other foods high in sugar, even things like pasta and bread, it's a sign of stress eating and anxiety. Sugar may be a short-term fix, making you feel better in the moment, but it adds to your long-term anxious feelings. Number 12 is trying to control everything. Your anxiety is out of control if you're trying to control every aspect of your life, whether you have control over events and situations or not. Putting all that energy into worrying and being anxious is exhausting. Trying to control people who have their own minds and ways of thinking is impossible. Number 13 is ignoring talking about your anxiety. Avoiding talking about your anxiety with someone only makes anxiety worse. When you keep anxiety and your negative thoughts to yourself, it can make situations seem more significant and worse than they really are. Getting the recommended help you need to manage your anxiety and talking to a therapist about mental health problems will help you ease and cope with your anxiety. So many people experience anxiety in this world. I'm one of them, and managing anxiety is the key to a happy life. Anxiety is healthy, is treatable, and you have to take the time to seek the help that you deserve.